Thursday, May 10. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has outlined his ministry's response to curtail gang violence in Westmoreland, where 7 people were killed in a 24-hour period last week. Speaking in the House of Representatives this week, Dr. Chang said Westmoreland continues to experience an upsurge in violence with 57 murders since the start of the year. We have more in this report. National Security Minister outlined the source of violence in Westmoreland with some recent 36 incidents of murder and 18 shootings.
In Westmoreland, there are 3 major gang feuds currently in place, which account for most of the murders and shootings. In fact, the police estimate over 90%. There's an ongoing feud between the Dexter Street gang and the Darling Street gang. And for those who don't know what we're talking, it's the right-hand side and left-hand side of Great George Street, which is the main street down Sablomar. They're not far from each other. You walk across the road. And there's the Kings Valley gang versus the Sterling Godfrey gang, which resulted in the particular feud last on May 1st. That particular grouping is just one side of Grange Hill, which may be called the north side against the other side of Grange Hill, which is being led by a number of individuals who have gained enormous resources from illicit electronic fraud, otherwise called lotto scamming.
Dr. Chang said Savannah Lamar, Negril and Grange Hill have been classified as hotspots because of gang violence related to the drugs for gun trade and lottery scam syndicates. He announced operational measures to counter the crime wave.
We will increase internal security operations within the division, targeting wanted persons, persons of interest, and known facilitators of the current gang rivalry that exists in the hotspot areas of Westmoreland. Increase human and physical resources, especially in the Morgan's Bridge Police District. That area includes, I think, Grange Hill, Little London, all the way to Sheffield. Inform personnel across the control ports of possible persons of interest from the division that may attempt to flee the island. Work with the Financial Investigation Division of the Ministry of Finance and the RPD to go after these criminals, their cronies and support systems in order to disable their resources and make them financially non-viable. And embark on the development of master plan for these communities to improve upon public order while at the same time enhancing access to social amenities.
Dr. Chang said by apprehending, investigating, prosecuting, convicting, and incarcerating criminals, he believes the heroic image of donmanship can be destroyed. For his part, Fitz Jackson, opposition spokesman on national security, said he supports the measures announced by Dr. Chang.
And as the minister indicated, 93 persons were detained, subsequently 11 were charged, and some further number of persons were detained over that and charged during the period of time. In Westmoreland, where there is no state of emergency, in Westmoreland, where there is no zones of special operation, and that underscores the fact, Mr. Speaker, that the capacity or the being able to respond to criminal elements outside of a state of emergency, outside of our zones of special operation, is not outside our ability.
Education, Youth and Information Minister Senator Ruel Reid says reading will help preparing students for the Primary Exit Profile, PEP, which is scheduled to commence in the 2018-2019 academic year. According to Minister Reid, it is through reading and self-directed learning that students will be able to apply their knowledge that they would have acquired in the transition from Grade 6 Achievement Test, GSAT, to PEP. The minister was speaking with JIS this week at the New Providence Primary School in Kingston, where he read to a group of Grade 4 students in celebration of Read Across Jamaica Day 2018. PEP, which will replace GSAT as the National Secondary School Entrance Test, is intended to provide an improved and more complete profile of students' academic and critical thinking capabilities at the end of primary level education. It will comprise a performance task, ability task test, and a curriculum-based test. The annual Read Across Jamaica Day is organized by the Jamaica Teachers Association and is an important part of activities in observance of Education Week 2018 from May 5 to May 11. Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, the PAAC, is to hold an in-camera meeting with representatives of the Ministry of Finance regarding O'Brien's International Car Sales Limited, which was issued a contract to supply used vehicles to the Jamaica Constabulary Force. This follows a letter from the Finance Ministry to the PAAC dated April 10, in which it said due to the sensitive nature of the matter, which is now the subject of an investigation by the fraud squad, Brands was contracted to provide 200 vehicles at a cost of $400 million, but has failed to meet its obligations. Addressing the matter at yesterday's PAAC meeting, Chairman Wickham McNeil said a decision will be made to have the in-camera meeting with the ministry to get an update on the situation and an indication of what contingency measures have been put in place in terms of ensuring the JCF has enough vehicles to adequately carry out the job. Science, Energy and Technology Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley says more regulations are being crafted to direct the operations of the petroleum industry in order to ensure increased compliance. The new regulations form a part of the recommendations made by the Petroleum Trade Reform Committee, established to investigate reports of contaminated fuel or faulty gas in the petroleum market, which arose in late December 2015. The minister advised that already regulations have been instituted, beginning with the signing of a ministerial order in 2017 that ensures that all petroleum products entering the island are tested and certified by the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. This includes establishment of standards and regulations for liquid petroleum gas, natural gas, and other forms of petroleum products. He was speaking at the second staging of the Jamaica Gasoline Retailers Association of Jamaica trade show at the Spanish Court Hotel in New Kingston this week. Ronald Jackson, Director General of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, says the effects of this week's torrential rains should be a lesson to Jamaicans of what is to come if there is a bigger natural disaster this hurricane season. The rains left several communities across the island flooded, damaged infrastructures, and roads blocked by landslides. The season begins on June 1. Mr. Jackson says the rains have highlighted weaknesses that are being exposed by these rain events. These weaknesses, he says, could relate to the state of the natural ecosystem in the upland forests. He says the strength of important infrastructure should be reviewed. In regional news, we look to Bermuda. A 28-year-old man appeared in court charged on Tuesday with making death threats to Premier David Burt and demanding cash and other items from the country's leader. Jared Gordon was charged with 2 counts of sending threatening messages. According to prosecutors, he allegedly sent Burt several messages between October 2 last year and March 28 this year, demanding items and money. A message sent to the Premier on March 2018 made reference to, quote, pulling you out of your house and chopping your head off with a hacksaw, end quote. When Gordon appeared before Magistrate Kamisi Tokumbo Tuesday morning, he was not required to enter a plea to the indicatable offenses. He was released on a $5,000 bail on the conditions that he avoid contact with the Premier and report to Hamilton Police Station regularly. He will appear before the Supreme Court on June 1. In sports, Jamaica's senior women's team took a big step towards qualifying for the Caribbean Football Union Challenge Series final round after blanking Guadeloupe 13-0 in their opening Group B game at the Stade Sylvia Qatar in Port-au-Prince, Haiti yesterday. Khadija Bunny Shaw led the way for the Reggae Girls with an impressive 6 goals. Shaw scored in the 4th, 37th, 43rd, 45th, 62nd and 73rd minutes. Dominique Bondaflaza scored in the 42nd and 17th minute. Gazelle Washington, 61st and 79, also scored braces for the impressive Reggae Girls. The Jamaicans will play Martinique in their second game tomorrow, while Haiti will entertain Guadeloupe in the other game. The only group winners will advance to the CFU final round set for August 25 and September 2. Sunshine Girls shooter Janelle Fowler-Reid is planning to dominate this year's Australian Suncorp Super League competition. Fowler-Reid made the switch to the West Coast Fever at the end of last season after 5 years playing in the ANZ Championships in New Zealand, with the Southern Steel scored a league record 66 goals to guide her team to a 74-56 win over Adelaide Thunderbirds on April 30. Her effort surpassed the previous mark of 50 goals. She followed that up by scoring 62 of her team's 68 goals to help her Fever go to their second straight win over the Collingwood Magpies last Saturday. The 28-year-old Fowler-Reid told the Gleaner from her base in Australia that she plans to leave her mark on the competition this season. And that's the news. Do stay with us. The weather report is next. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start, as usual, with our local currents. In Kingston this afternoon, sunny skies with warm temperatures between 24 and 29 degrees Celsius. Over there in Montego Bay, St. James, we could be getting some scattered showers with temperatures between 23 and 29 degrees Celsius during the day, and a cool temperature forecast for this evening set at 11 degrees Celsius. Across the island today, we can expect average temperature between 29 and 31 degrees Celsius. We're seeing a forecast of cloudy conditions across several parishes, mostly in the eastern end of the island. We should be getting some rainfall in the northern end of the islands today. Tomorrow, rainfall again for Montego Bay and Negril is forecast. Cloudy conditions in the central parts of the island. Sunny skies for Kingston. We could be getting some scattered showers over there in St. Thomas. We're seeing temperatures between 29 and 32 degrees Celsius. In our regional forecast, for those of us who are traveling across the Caribbean tomorrow, we're seeing warm temperatures between 27 and 30 degrees Celsius. We're seeing cloudy conditions forecast for Nassau, Bahamas, rainfall in the eastern end of the island. We're also seeing a rainfall forecast for Havana, Cuba as well. And further afield, we're looking at these areas in the United States: Los Angeles, Miami, New York, and Atlanta. We're seeing minimum temperature in 11 degrees Celsius, and we're seeing a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. Highest temperature forecast for Los Angeles tomorrow. We're seeing some cloudy conditions over there. We could be getting some sunny skies as well. Rainfall is forecast for New York. And that's it for the weather forecast, weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the people's station.